I'm Amy,
And I'm Audrea.
and this is the right crowd. So grab your cup of coffee.
Nice one. I like that. Or your cup of tea.
Maybe a little something on the rocks, and let's get started. So, can I tell you about my cup real quick?
Please do.
You notice it's a handprint?
Oh, okay. I see it now.
Okay, so when Randy and I lived in Loudoun County, Virginia, they did an art tour. They do an art tour because there's so many people in the area that have studios. And they did it like some places at Christmas will do like a home holiday decorating tour kind of thing.
Mhm.
Well, it was an art tour where you went and you visited all of these home studios. And one of the guys was a potter. A lot of the people were potters. And this is actually his hand. He held the cup when he put it into the glaze and left his handprint on the cup. And I was throwing clay at the time. So I appreciated the work that went into this cup with the ridges and everything. And to have his hand on it, I was like, okay, that's the one I'm buying. So that is what this is. That is his he's got a big handprint. I wonder what mine looks like on top.
That is really cool.
Yeah, he's got a really big hand. So yes, this is actually one of my favorites, and I finally found it in all the stuff we've been unpacking, which is why there's boxes behind me.
Well, speaking of unpacking and all that stuff, today we are talking to you about your 2023, a little bit of a retrospective. So I get to interview you today.
Hey,
All right.
are you so excited?
I am very excited. All right. So I have questions here. I have a clipboard. I love clipboard.
It looks very official with a clipboard.
What?
Okay.
And then I
So
have them up screen if I look away.
So do I have to behave?
Do you ever?
Okay.
All right. So you have, Amy, had a bit of a hiatus this year. What was that
Yes.
all about?
Okay. So long story short, Hubs and I are building a house. And we started with rehabbing our 1920s red brick that we were living in. And we bought 2 acres in the middle of no freakware, which we absolutely love. My family makes fun of me because it's 10 minutes to get anywhere, which isn't quite in the middle of nowhere, except when you're used to being able to get places in 5 minutes. So with moving out of the house, and we moved into an RV in the driveway at the house. Then we moved the RV to the property. And with that, we knew that I would need a more consistent income. And so I also had to get a full-time job. I had to get a job. So then when we moved here to where I'm at now, 10 or so years ago, my plan was to be a poker dealer. When I got here, the place that I planned on working for, they had just closed the location and they weren't hiring anyone. They were laying people off. So there was no possibility for that job. I am finally back to what the plan was. And in the middle of 2022, I was able to start dealing poker. For those of you who don't know, I play poker and I've been playing for almost 20 years. And I think it's cool to be a poker dealer. Like, it's fun. I enjoy it. It's the first time I've enjoyed a job since I worked for Independence Air at the Dulles Airport in the early 2000s. That's how long ago I enjoyed a job.
That is me.
Yeah. So I'm loving it. So with working and rehabbing and then working on the new property, my writing took a backseat.
That makes sense. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are new to this channel, Amy and myself are writers aspiring to be published authors. And
You're very close. I'm very close.
Getting the book and publishing. And we normally we review writing craft books. But today, as we are the beginning of a brand new year, we are talking with Amy about for last year why she took a hiatus. So your next question is, how will your writing fit in now to your new life, new house, new job?
Okay. So the first house that we were working on is sold, and the new house is very close to being done. So I am still working and don't see an end to that in the near foreseeable future. We haven't had a mortgage in a couple of years, and that's going to change in a couple of months. So, you know,
I do know. I work full time. I do know. I mean, it's hard to fit writing in around a job and all the
all
other
the things.
things, family and responsibilities. All right. So, have you been doing anything writing related during this time that you've taken?
Okay, stop. Okay, I thought it sounded funny. You skipped a question. I gave you the answer to a question that you didn't ask.
Okay, let's go back.
I was like, that doesn't sound like the right answer, but
I don't know if we're weaving it in. Okay, no problem.
the way my screen is set up, our picture covers actually those two questions. I'm like, I don't sound like I'm answering the right question.
That's okay. I'm so sorry. I thought you had answered the second question in the first one, so I skipped to the third. Okay, we are starting over with question two.
Do you want to put your clipboard up or something so you can see where we start again?
So how is that going, Amy?
Well, the first house was sold and the new house is very close to being done. I'm actually sitting in what will be my new office right now, which is purple, Audrea's favorite colors. I am still working. Do not see an end to that in the foreseeable future. We haven't had a mortgage in a couple of years. That's going to change in the next 3 to 4 months. So,
How will you fit your writing in?
okay, so over the last couple of months, I have been able to rearrange my schedule and priorities so that I can make writing a priority again. I also have a space again to feel like I can be productive and not cramped up because we were in a fifth wheel. So it was more spacious than a travel trailer or bumper puller, however you want to call it. And it was still cramped up because my husband and I both need desk space and there's only so much space. And I know that I work really well with a consistent schedule, which I haven't been able to do with where we were in the building process. It may take me a week or two in the new year to get there, and I will get there, and that is the goal, is to get my writing back on a consistent schedule. And when you listen to our 2024 goals video, you'll be able to hear more about
Yes, nice teaser. Oh God. So you want to make sure that you guys subscribe,
like and subscribe. And if you want to hear Audrea's interview, it was last video or the one before where we go over classes and conferences. That's Audrea's interview.
Those are the ones I took last 2020. All right. Well, how have you been doing anything writing related during this whole time?
Okay, so that's a loaded question. So, a couple of things. I have been keeping up with Sarah Cannon and all of her updates and classes. I have mentioned her before, and I think she's fabulous in the indie writing community. She's given a lot if you're willing to listen and take what works for you. She has her HB90 class, which she does twice a year to help people get their writing organized into quarters. And then her Publish and Thrive is to help, it's geared specifically for writers who want to publish indie. And then both of these, you have, when you join and take one of these classes, you have a lifetime access to it. So even if she makes changes in the information, which she did last year, she changed all the videos and gave all new information. I still had access to it. So I can go back at any time and look at what she's done. Or what I have done is I've gone to a certain point at her Publish and Thrive and I've stopped because I'm not to where I need the next bit of information. So I've kept up with what she's done in all of that. And then I also started another book that I was working on because of the Christmas cozy book that we reviewed. I got a Christmas cozy idea. So I started that. It's going to be based in St. Augustine. So the hubs and I have spent a couple of days walking around and getting our bearings for the streets and all of those things. He and I are also in the beginning stages of writing an RPG that we hope to also make into a board game, which has been super fun because it's going to have little woodland creatures as the characters. And so it's been fun to walk around the bookstore and be like, oh, that looks like what I have in my head for what the squirrel's going to look like. So that's been fun to do with him. And then, of course, this past November, I joined you and a couple thousand other writers in Vegas for the very last 20 books, 50K writers conference. And after that, we rented an Airbnb with a couple of writer friends and did a little mini writing and planning weekend. So even though I haven't actually been writing, which yes, I do write, I don't write. I know that's weird, but I'm a writer, which I'm realizing is probably going to be detrimental to me because now I have to go type everything that I've written unless I learn how to dictate, which is a whole nother can of worms. So yeah, so even though I haven't been actually writing what I was working on, I have still been working on writing.
Yes. So just to clarify, when you say you do write, you mean you write longhand in a notebook rather than typing into and laptop computer, and then you have to just transcribe later on.
Yeah.
It's old.
I'm trying. Yeah, it is old school. I've been journaling since I was like 8. So it's what I'm used to. I will say that my cozy that I've been working on, um, my ideas and stuff have been in a notebook with pen and paper. However, my story, I have been using the computer and I have Plotter. I'm scared to use it because I don't trust technology. I'm scared I'm gonna write all these words and I'm gonna lose it because I've lost a story before and I have no idea what happened to it. And it was probably 3/4 of the way done and it was really good. So I'm a little gun shy and I'll get there.
That is painful.
Yes, it is, especially since the 16-year-old that I was writing from her perspective, she didn't want to get out of the car when I was letting her read one area. It was good. And she goes, "Can I just stay in the car and keep reading?" I'm like, "Yes, please." So,
And then you
and
lost
then
it.
yep, I have no idea.
All right. So you mentioned Sarah Cannon. Did you take any other classes last year?
However, I have purchased many of them. It's writing for me to take this year. I am a learner by nature, so I had to actually go back and figure out what I had access to, what I already purchased. I had to go find it and get it all written down and put it in the same place so that I could take them this year, like make sure that I don't overload myself. Because if I'm going to take 4 classes this month, yeah, that's not going to happen. So I have to like go through and what classes do I have and get them ready. I still have one more that I need to locate, and then I can get them all organized. That one is not writing related, however, it is YouTube related, and so I still need it for all things socials. So no, the writers conference and Sarah Cannon are pretty much the only like, unless you want to count some of the books we read, because we read writing craft books. I mean, it could be kind of classes in themselves, maybe.
Oh, especially if you do it experientially, easy for me to think, and do the homework and the exercises.
Yeah.
I consider them. I mean, it's definitely education. That's the whole.
But then, yes, I took classes all year, and I'm tired. I'm taking the next year off.
No, no, those don't count. But it's funny. I did the same kind of class audit that you did. I needed to write all the ones that I already have access to down so that I didn't miss them or miss deadlines, and that I made sure I take them. And then I, again, also didn't overload myself the next year as I want to do. Like I can take that one and that one too. And then I'll just take this one back to back. And oh, yeah, I have a full-time job and other responsibilities.
Well, in the process of finding all my things, and of course, Black Friday sales, I discovered that I had 2 classes that I had purchased that I no longer have access to because you had to download them. Like you have lifetime access,
Yes.
but you have so long to download the class, and I missed that part.
Ouch.
So when I pull up the other classes, it's there haunting me. It says expired, expired, expired.
Oh, that's painful. Yeah, all right, let's just move right on. Let's just power through the pain. So with this year or so of last year of not really writing, what have you learned? Have you learned anything about yourself that you can use?
That's a good question.
It should be. You wrote it.
I forgot I wrote it, and that's a good question.
Okay.
So, actually, yes, and I don't think it was anything new. I think sometimes we need to rediscover what we already knew. And for me, it was that I need to write down where I can see it constantly, like not beginning of the week, sit down, run out my week, and then put it away. Because then I'm looking at it again for the next week. And then I'll look at it and be like, oh, that's right. I was going to edit that chapter this week. And I don't even know where that is now because I haven't looked at it. Right. Um, I also need to break it down into manageable pieces so that I just don't move past it to get to something smaller so I can mark something off my list. So if I need to edit read chapters, I can't write down edit read chapters. I have to write down edit chapter 5, edit chapter 6, edit chapter 7. Because then I can say, like, yes, I got chapter 5. I only have 2 more to go. Kind of like when I do my walk outside, I'm going to do 10 loops. 4 done. Yes, only 6 more to go. Like, I've got to break it down into pieces because if it stays as one giant bite, I won't take that first bite. And then I also know this about myself, and Sarah's HB90 class reminded me that for me, time blocking really is key. And if I set up my day by the hour or even 30-minute increments, I get a lot more done than if I just say, okay, these are all the things I need to get done today, but I don't put a time on it or give myself a time limit, then it just, before I know it, it's to the next part where now I have to do something by a certain time and I don't have time to do those things. So as long as I break them down and put them as a time block, then I can get it done. Which, like I said, I knew that about myself, and sometimes you just need to see it again.
Yeah. Rediscover what you already knew.
Yep.
All right. So moving forward, what do you see for yourself for this next year?
So many things. And specifically with writing, I have some pretty big goals, which I know I've been not really doing anything this last year. I might be biting off more than I can chew, and it's okay. It's okay. I have I have learned that make the goal so that when you do it and you accomplish it, you're very proud of yourself and you don't think, well, I could have done more. So that's how I work best. So for me, specifically for writing, I have a short story collection. It is just 1 or 2 more stories, and then it's ready to be edited. I have a sci-fi fantasy that is 3 parts and only needs part 3 to be completed. I have about a third, fourth to a third. I'm a plotter, so I don't know how much more. I'm guessing I have about a fourth to a third that's already been written. I just have to finish it out. Which the dinner we had at 20 Books with Abernathy was like key for me being able to finish that. And I know I've said that before, but it was key. So I have that. And then the cozy that I mentioned earlier, I've gotten it to the point where everything that was in my brain is on paper. And now I have to actually plan out the rest of it. So I have to finish that. And then I have a middle grade fantasy that needs to get out of my head. So these were all on the plan for 2024. And I know it sounds like a lot. And some of them, there's not that much left to do. It's not like I'm doing 4 totally new projects. There's only 1 new project in all of them I'm working on. I hope to have the first 3 completed, which are the ones that I've already started, and then out for everyone in the world to be reading while I'm finishing up the middle grade. And then I will be using Sarah's Publish and Thrive class, which I talked about before, to get me through to the end of all of them because she's done this indie thing for 20 plus books. I mean, she might be on 27 or something. So she knows what she's doing. She's done it well. I don't need to go find it anywhere else. I've already paid for the class. I'm going to use her stuff.
Mhm.
And then all the information that I've gotten from 3 years of 20 books to 50K to get me through any bumps that I need to get over. So that's my plan for 2024. Again, we'll see. Again, I've broken it all down. Again, we'll go over the 2024 video more detail, but that's the gist of it.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think I've used my word allotment for the day. Oh, wait. Okay. So I will say I am fully aware that my goals do not match my previous year, and that's okay. They might not also get anywhere near completion this year, and that's okay too. For me, as long as I'm moving forward and I feel like I'm making progress, I'll be proud of whatever it is that I accomplish. I have an even bigger goal of being a full-time writer by the time I turn 50, which is not too far away. I am so very close, which is weird for me to say that I'm close to 50. Like, it's just weird. But anyway, in order for me, for that to be a reality for me and not just a goal that I keep moving the finish line for, because we do that, don't we? We just keep moving the finish line. I have to keep my head down and be intentional with my time. And I'm hoping that this year that will be what works for me. And now I'm out of words.
Yeah. Well, if you are, I certainly am. So that's it for this episode. Once again, please like and subscribe if you want videos about us reviewing writing craft books, conferences, etc., and hear our journeys. That's it for us. Bye.
Bye.